So the Beast, initially, I came up with the bass line from a drum book that I was working on with a certain quintuplet pattern. So the complexity and the simplicity of that tune, the chord progression is based off of blues, but then it has this underlining rhythm based in fives and different groupings. And then from there, Jeff ended up writing this melody.
Yeah, and the melody, at first I just played through the groove with Steve for a while, and I really loved it, and it kind of had this shuffle feel to it, even though they're quintuplets. It's even in the key of E, so it's a total rock and roll guitar key. And I wanted to have a melody that was simpler and really blues-based, and a lot of the phrases land on the downbeats. Later, playing the song, I discovered that if you count it in 5 or in 10, the melody sounds very syncopated. And if you count it in 4, the bass sounds syncopated and the melody sounds like it's on the beats. So it's kind of fun. There's two ways you can experience this song.
The bass part is very syncopated, and Jeff's part is mostly on the downbeat, and Ralph is the bridge between those two. He sort of came up with a pattern to where he's connecting with Jeff, but he's also connecting with the bass line.
Yeah, I would say when you listen to this song, just listen to the hi-hat, and it's a shuffle, basically. It's just missing 1/8 note.
Steve Billman, the composer, at the time he was studying artificial values, and he thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to bring some of this information into music in a way where it didn't sound so odd. An artificial value, of course, is any odd number. And when you split up a quarter note or a duple value into an odd number, it's called artificial, even including the number 3. But in this case, Steve wrote something that used the number 5. Okay? So 5 notes per beat equals a quintuplet. All right, so a group of 5 over the beat. That's the first step. Second step was decide what the meter was going to be, the time signature. Steve thought, well, 4/4 makes perfect sense. So that means that beat 1 had 5 beats, beat 2, 5 beats, beat 3, 5 beats, and beat 4, 5 beats, equaling 20 notes all together in the bar. Steve compounded the complexity of this whole rhythmic issue by writing a bass line that grouped that quintuplet 4 at a time. So whereas he was playing 5 groups of 4 in the bar, I, on the other hand, was playing 4 groups of 5. So let's figure this out. One of our performance tempos was around 58. Now that's a quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take that quarter note and split it up into 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Now let's take that same quintuplet value and cut it into 4 pieces. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's how Steve's bass line was being divided. I wanted to feel a big 4/4 and have downbeat, downbeat, backbeat, and make it feel really loose, really groovy, and not make it sound so odd.
This was a really fun one to figure out because the first time I heard it, because the angular nature of that bass playing the groupings of 4 over the 5, the 5 groupings for each quarter note in 4/4, I first thought was to go like industrial, get some gongs and some metallic sounds out and really kind of do some cool stuff. But the more I listened to it, the more I realized this really was just the blues. I decided to get out the blues tambourine and do the backbeats through the melody. The concept of if you're going to do something unique, make it familiar, and if you're going to do something familiar, make it unique, the tune was unique in and of itself. The familiarity was the blues, the way the melody is structured and everything. I wanted to add the tambourine in there to even add more of that nostalgia, that blues thing, to keep it a real simple accentuation of what's going on. There's enough going on. I didn't need to be that busy. And the blues tambourine seemed to tie it in and kind of give it that cool feel.
If you listen to the tambourine, you can really feel, that's the best way to feel the four, where the pulse is. It's just the blues, right?
It's just the blues, baby.
That's it.